Alright guys, girls and whatnot, I'm back again for another video. This is the second time I've been recording it. First time was stupidly through movie moments. I didn't look at it properly. It turns out you can only record 10 seconds, so I had a 16-minute video and I only had 10 seconds so I was able to upload. So I have been kind of defunct or on hiatus for a while now, simply because of just life. I've been quite busy doing other stuff. Been playing video games, but I just haven't gotten around to recording. I do plan to do more, but that's going to be at least 2 months away. I'll be posting the odd video. I'm just quite busy still. On top of that, I am going overseas to Ireland and England to see relatives and just explore the place. I'm very excited about that, so I will be at least away for a month. Lucky me, I guess. But this game that has just popped out kind of out of nowhere has really sparked my interest, and that is the Fable Fortune game, which is a collectible card game. Currently going to be released on Xbox One and PC. I assume the Windows 10 version will have UWP, so we'll probably see it on Windows Phone as well. They do plan on releasing it on iOS and Android, which would be even better, more people. And yeah, this is Fable Fortune. It's currently in a Kickstarter. I suggest you go visit it, and I might put a link down below. And just basically visit it and fund it. And I'll be honest with you now, I haven't put money towards it yet. I'm actually waiting for the day I next get paid, because I think I should have enough funds to put a lot of money towards it, or the amount of money I want to put towards it. I've just got to account for expenses and just life, you know. You do need money at the end of the day to get by. But I do want to put a lot of money into this. This is mainly because Fable has been a series that I have thoroughly enjoyed. I've really loved Fable: The Lost Chapters. I remember the first day buying it, falling in love with the game quite quickly, and I was so excited just looking at the box art. Fable 2, I absolutely loved. Once again, I remember the day buying it, this time cranked up on energy drinks because I was a bit older. And Fable 3, it was good. I'm not going to say it's bad, it was good. I never touched Fable The Journey. I never touched, I think it was Fable Heroes. Just after that, I kind of fell off the bandwagon. I'm still curious to try Fable Journeys, and I probably will play Fable Heroes. I might be wrong on that title, but I'm 90% certain it's Fable Heroes. It was like an XBLA game. That looked like a beat 'em up. I will probably play them at some stage, more likely if Fable 4 comes out. So yeah, with Fable Fortunes, it looks fantastic. Once again, check the Kickstarter. But I'm here in this video to suggest some cards, because I haven't mentioned, you know, that they're looking for suggestions. And I mean, the Fable universe has a lot of things, but it isn't... sometimes you have to dig deep to find them, and so I might be doing a couple of videos on this depending on how much I find. So yeah, and another thing to point out is, by the looks of things, some characters from cards are actually not in Fable games, but they're like of a creature, but of a different class, if you could call it. The main one that suggests this is the fire-breathing hob. I really can't remember coming across a hob that drinks alcohol and spits fire. I assume that's what he does, because he's holding a bottle and a torch. But yeah, so just keep that in mind, and if I'm wrong, you can ignore all the ones that I have suggested that aren't actually in a Fable game, and you can laugh at me. I'll give you that privilege. So we'll start off by just saying that, you know, Fable needs to cover it. The Fable Fortune needs to cover a lot of enemies that were kind of exclusive to single Fable games. I mean, you have the Hobbs, you have the Balverines, you have the Hollow Men, but you know, there was characters like Screamers that are now kind of under the radar since they haven't been consistently returning. So they're really something to consider. But like moving on to my lists, I will not just be listing it, I will be going into depth a bit. The first one that popped out straight away was actually based on a armor set and a weapon. It was it came with Fable 2 Collector's Edition. I wasn't sure if it was a pre-order bonus or just came with the Collector's Edition, and that was a armor set and a sword based off Halo. It had the armor resembled a Master Chief and the sword resembled a energy sword. So yeah, that's the first one that pops in my head, and I can't remember the description. It was either describing a hero, and if that case it's a potential hero card, not a hero card, but a character card named that hero, or either that, or if it's based off a blacksmith or a tribe or something, which I don't think it is, you could say tribe or blacksmith '(S) soldier. Simple as that. Another thing that came to my head straight away was that even though I haven't played Fable Heroes, I've noticed in the Kickstarter we have alternative arts. And with Fable Heroes, I'm pretty sure you had like characters like Reva, who appeared completely differently in the cartoon version, and once again can be an alternative for the Reva card or all the other heroes. When looking at this game and many other games that kind of reference other games in the universe, it does sometimes frustrate me when I see a game and it chooses to ignore characters or events from lesser successful games or like kind of lesser significant games. I mean, the thing that frustrated me so much with GTA 5, I loved all the GTA 4 references just because I love GTA 4, and to be honest I preferred it over GTA 5, but that's just my opinion. But I did not see any Chinatown Wars references, and that is a solid game. If you haven't played it yet and you have a platform that has it and you like GTA, please pick it up. It is a very good game, and seeing none of it in GTA 5, at least when it was released, I haven't checked recently, there seem to be no mentions. And this also applies to novels in the Fable franchise. I think there would be some interesting characters from those books that could be referred in the game. You do have the pub games, which was released before Fable 2. I think that would be a bit harder to get references from, simply because all the mini games are actually in Fable 2. There might have been heroes in it, but they're really, you know, they're the same as basically any pub gamer, if you could call it that. But then there was one that just came to my head, and I was like, yes, this is a fantastic reference, and this is probably, out of the three, the one that I would love to see the most, and that is references from Fable Coin Golf. This was a mobile game. I think it was only released on Windows Phone, which I currently have. Very fun game. It's basically golf really, except for at the start you use a rubber band, and you use rubber bands to bounce off walls and everything. That's a very significant part, but it is like a golf game, a bird's eye view golf game. And seeing some coin golfer cards would be great. They could take appearances of the tutorial narrators in the game, or they're generally tutorial narrators, or I think at the start of every level they say something funny. And with this, we can produce 4 cards. You have the coin golfer, which has just a normal gold coin. You have the coin golfer with the red coin, which kills enemies, if I remember correctly. Then you have a coin golfer with a green coin, chops down trees, and a coin golfer with a blue coin, which builds bridges. Just a nice reference, and just a unique card, really. I mean, I just would love to see some sort of character holding back the rubber band and firing the coin. Another thing that just popped up when I was looking through achievements the other day was the Arse Creed. It was in Fable Anniversary, which I haven't played. I want to play it. So I'm going to sit down and play Fable Anniversary 2 and 3. This wasn't in the Lost Chapters at all referenced, but House Creed is a reference to Assassin's Creed. So a assassin that kind of resembles the assassins in Assassin's Creed, because they're generally quite consistent with the hood and whatnot. And then obviously a reference to the arse, I don't know, like an enlarged arse or just a fart or something. Just something funny and kind of, clever. Not clever, but, it's something unique, I guess. And then I looked at, kind of creatures in the world and heroes that kind of interact with, not heroes, humans that interact with these creatures. I mean, the Hob is probably the Hobbs and Balverine are the most iconic, and I didn't actually have much for now. I might do some more videos and come up with more interesting stuff. Necromancer Hob popped up, like some really evil Hob, like one that actually doesn't look that funny. Like, they often have a little funny resemblance. This one's just straight up brutal. We have Balverine Hunter, and 90% certain we've already seen that in Fable Fortune. It's a trailer, but I've put it there anyway. And you could have multiple generations of Balverine Hunters, because in Fable The Lost Chapters there was the Not Old-Glade kind of clan, but town, that really kind of focused on like kind of Balverines, like they were all around, and I'm pretty sure in some of the books they reference hunters then. So having, multiple generations of Balverine hunters would be cool. And then I came up with what was my favourite, and that is the psychic Hob, or the spiritual Hob, and this is almost like a Buddhist Hob. Its image might not have the Buddhist garbs, but it has a picture of a Hob in some sort of priest-looking clothing, and he's levitating in the air cross-legged. I just think it'd be a cool idea, and I reckon a Hob would look awesome in that. Then when it came to trolls, I was browsing the Fable Wikia, once again give it support, and they mentioned that in Fable 3, I completely forgot this, that the trolls had actually been wiped out. Not wiped out, but very few were around. There'd been like, a lot of hunting to kill them. And they're basically endangered. And just thinking of maybe a troll in Fable 3 that represents the endangered trolls, like maybe a whole new breed of troll. Not breed, but just appearance of a troll that's kind of represents, a peaceful troll, almost like a herbivore. And with the herbivore, I kind of suddenly jumped to the conclusion, something that looks similar, has resemblance to a panda or another endangered herbivore, because they're harmless. They're meant to represent harmless and friendly and fluffy and cute. Of course, the troll's not going to be fluffy. It's going to consist of elements of earth and rock, but that does not mean you could make it resemble an animal in some way. For example, if a panda has black spots, you can obviously translate that through the elements of the world. A snow troll came up, which I think actually might have been in Fable. I'm not sure. And then when I was searching for enemies, I came across the minions, which I completely forgot. They were from Fable The Lost Chapters and maybe Fable 1. Yes, they were in Fable 1. And they were these creatures that had double blades, basically. They were fox creatures. And they are so cool looking. I'm not going to lie, they're beautiful. And there's really only one class in that game for them. So adding different type of minions would be awesome. I mean, minions is what they go by on Fable Wiki. I'm not even sure if they were named. But like adding, say, different classes like archers or mages, and like say the fox creature has these red double blades. The archer has these like shiny blue bow and arrow or crossbow, even though I don't think they were around in the original Fable. And mages, once again, maybe a green. They're kind of quite, generic colours, but you know what I'm saying? Like the weapon has a different colour. And and it'd be great to see them just return in Fable full stop, because they are just so cool looking. You do have dog breeds. I'm not too keen on adding them because I could see a lot of, not a lot of controversy, but there'd definitely be animal rights groups that would be a bit frustrated with that. And that also brings me back to that troll that I was talking about. It could take a joke. It's like kind of about section could almost take the piss out of animal rights. Even though like I support animal rights, I mean, you've got to get laughed at some days, basically. Another one was Ferrari. I've got this off the internet. I'll probably pronounce it wrong, but it's an employer in Fable 3, aka generally a child worker that's getting poorly paid, if not paid at all. Just came up, a very weak card, but could potentially, through like, you know, picking good and evil, evolve into some beastly like card that you don't want to touch. I mean, you don't want to go against. Just a rags to riches kind of reference. Hell, yeah, they could become tycoons themselves. Another one that was cool was Guest Set Reaver's Ball. If you remember that game, there's almost this like masquerade, if I remember correctly. Just having some of them there, these like kind of gluttony, just greedy people really, and greedy rich people, and they were just kind of cool looking, and they were kind of evil at the same time. It was quite interesting, and that was interesting. And now I have 3 ones that are kind of, I think the word term's wild card, if you can use it right. They're just really random cards, and they might look quite out of place in the game, and they're more just nods to stuff. I would say they would be rare. They're not anything powerful, they're just something that's cool to collect. The first one that comes out is Mira from Killer Instinct. Now, before you shut this video out of rage, listen to this. Basically, in Killer Instinct, we see that Mira, Killer Instinct Season 3, we saw a whole bunch of new characters. There's still 2, I think, to come out now. Yes, because Gargoyles came out recently. Anyway, one of them was Mira, and she is basically a vampire woman, and like all Killer Instinct games, like all the seasons, majority of the characters have accessories to buy or like level up to. This includes clothing. This is clothing basically, and we have seen references from other Microsoft games in Killer Instinct. So we saw a Conquer outfit for Rash in Battletoads. We also saw, I forget his name, but the one of the officers from Halo as TJ Combo's appearance. And with Mira, it was either her second or third costume is heavily inspired by Jack of Blades. I mean, like the Killer Instinct forum, like it maybe not just Killer Instinct forum, but just in general, you see in forums a lot of people say, yeah, that's definitely a Jack of Blades reference. So having Mira dressed up in that costume and as a card would be a nice nod to Iron Galaxy to say thanks. Another one that came up was Milo. The only reason why Milo came up was it was the only game that Lionhead were potentially releasing that looked like it had kind of potential to be a full retail game. Like there was all these ideas that Molyneux showed later, but they were never they never really got any attention. They were kind of like, oh, we've already cancelled it, here, have a look. And Milo was almost a tech demo, but at the same time, so many people were hyped, so it'd be cool to see him. He would look at a place again, but you know, it's just a nice nod, and it's just like, oh, I remember Milo, you know, and move on with life. And the final one, I'm kind of reluctant to talk about, simply because it just seems so odd, but it's another nod to something, and if you're on Windows 10 and you own, it might even be on Windows 8, you own the Solitaire game that comes with it, you'll notice in the themes of the cards you actually see a Fable theme. I was pretty stoked with that, and so I was thinking we could reference that somehow in a card, and the default back of a card, so without the numbers and whatnot, for the normal Solitaire mode, because there's multiple modes with different rules, has a polar bear, and just having a polar bear holding a Solitaire card, holding a hand of a deck of, just a hand of Solitaire cards, that might be the wrong terminology, but sorry, would be another thing. And I think especially with Milo and the polar bear, it's going to be something that is just really rare, like say 5, maybe 20 copies at max, or around that number, if you know what I mean. It's not something that everyone's going to come across. It's just something like, oh, that's really rare and that's really valuable, but it has no use to me. You know, I feel like Magic has done that a lot. I looked at their rare cards for a while, and I never got thoroughly into it, but it seemed like some of those rare cards were just references to stuff like, say, the creators, when he had kids, there was a card referencing kids. It wasn't anything to do with the actual universe. That's what really the polar bear and Milo represent, and Mira just kind of can fit in kind of with the Fable Fortune, or the Fable universe, simply because she's already appears like a Fable character with that alternative costume. But with that being said, it should be rare as well, because it isn't really technically from the Fable universe. They're basically nods to Iron Galaxy, the old Lionhead, and the guys who made Solitaire. I'm not sure what they're called. They might be Microsoft Casual Games. That's just besides the point. What I'm trying to get at is a rare, and I think I'll probably finish on that. I feel like I've scraped the surface. I think we will see. I think I will be uploading more videos, and I really hope you enjoy this. And once again, go to the Kickstarter, support Fable Fortune. I know I'm being a hypocrite because I haven't actually donated money yet, but the thing is, I will. With that being said, enjoy the video, and I look forward to seeing your comments, really, and share your ideas, which would be good. I also want to add, which I forgot to say at the start, was that these guys are actually looking for ideas. They've kind of said, put, the odd comment in the Kickstarter and we'll look into it. I think I read that, so I've been reading a lot about it, so it's hard to remember everything on top of other stuff. Anyway, that's the end of the video, and once again, go to their Kickstarter. Alright, bye.